Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
They are so excited. They are so excited. All right. Welcome, all of our Bricker students, staff, families, community members. Welcome, esteemed board members. Welcome, superintendents. We are so honored to be here. My name is Tracy Jarboe, and I am the principal of Bricker Elementary School, and we would like to begin with the mission. Are you ready? Here we go, guys.
Harrison District Mission.
Graduate college and career-ready students with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors to personally succeed and contribute to common good.
Harrison District Core Beliefs. 1.
All students are capable of excellence.
2.
Our purpose is to maximize student success.
And 3.
The well-being of our students, staff, families, and community is worthy of our investment.
Harrison District Goals. 1.
Establish a culture where all students, staff, and families are valued, supported, and appreciated.
2.
Empower all students with the education and skills necessary to be successful in their life journey.
And 3.
Broaden meaningful, active engagement among students, parents, and community.
Our Bricker Vision.
We create greatness.
And their mission.
All belong, all learn, all lead to succeed.
Can we give him a hand now?
Oh, awesome. I'm going to have all of my pledge leaders come right up front again. And we have something special for you.
Okay. Line them up over there. I think there were two of the same. Okay. So just for now, we'll get your name put on them.
Hi, can you all give Mr. Seaver? Let's do it actually facing here. You guys all face me and back up with Mr. Seaver. There you go. Everybody.
You better say cheese, Linda. You're in the shot.
Perfect. All right. Can everyone look at me? Squeeze in real tight. And let's hear it. Can you say Bricker?
Custom cards and
Bricker.
invitations.
1, 2,
All right.
I believe we're going to adopt the board agenda next.
Thank you. That was so exciting. So we're at 3.1. We have to adopt the agenda. I told you there'd be hiccups. It's my first one running, so. So has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Well, Linda and Steve, have you had a chance?
Thank you, Lee. It's part
I
of it.
know. Any changes?
No.
No.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as stated.
Second?
Well, that was easy. Moved by Mrs. Pugh, second by Mr. Siebert. All right. So
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, me too. Aye. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. And then the motion carries, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I just can't do that thing. You know what scares me? He used to bang this thing really loud. It scares me. I'm
I'd
not the
wake her
best
up
at
by-
like using the little thing. So I guess we are ready to go to our showcasing schools. That's what you're waiting for, right? You're really excited.
We are so excited, and I have to be honest with you, this is my first time doing this too. So I know that we jumped the gun a little bit, but we are just so excited and so grateful to be here. And again, we are just privileged and welcome everyone to our Bricker presentation. At Bricker, we are a Leader in Me school, and we really try to instill leadership skills in our students. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to let my leaders lead. So we are going to have some 5th grade representatives come on up, and come on up, the ladies. They are going to present for you.
Leader in Me is a program to help students become lifelong learners and leaders who set examples for others to follow. The Leader in Me helps us as students to be proactive, put first things first, begin with the end in mind, to think win-win, to seek first to understand, then to be understood, to synergize with others, and balance work and play.
By following 7 habits, we learn to lead in a positive way and to become more comfortable with public speaking.
A habit we use daily is seek first to understand, then to be understood, because it allows us to consider all viewpoints and solutions and follow the golden rules.
We feel that sharpening the saw is also important because it helps us balance our school life and personal life.
All 7 habits help us in school to better understand and have deeper viewpoint of a character's perspective. Like the main character Pravana from the Breadwinner series that we discussed in as we discussed the book in Aristocratic Seminars, we realized how Pravana's life is vastly different than ours and how 7 habits help her cope with the many challenges she faced.
At Bricker Elementary, we practice lead. Live responsibly, excellence every day, awesome attitude, and demonstrate respect.
We have brought our leadership binders to share with you. They contain our personal and class mission statements, our wildly important goals, and some of our data and more. We update these regularly and happy to share with you anytime you visit Bricker. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek about my class mission statement. In Smile City, we are hardworking and stand out from the crowd. We are helpful to others by using kind words and having a positive attitude by showing integrity and grit throughout our day.
And I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my personal mission statement. I will follow all the rules in the classroom and make sure that all my work is done before I help others. I will follow lead and 7 habits. I will come to school prepared to learn.
Thank you, 5th grade leaders. Awesome job. And they were here under the direction of our fabulous 5th grade teachers, Tammy Anderson, Drew Norkley, and Cheyenne Cleveland, who are sitting right behind them. So. So, who is ready to lead? We are ready to lead. Bricker is excited to share some of our leadership principles with you and the work we do. Who are we? Well, our student population is quite large. We have 350 young budding leaders at Bricker. We have 91% free and reduced lunch, 40% are ELL, 17% are SPED, we have a smattering of gifted, and our ethnicity is quite diverse. We have 70% Hispanic, 17% white, 7% black, 4% multiracial, and 2% other. Together, we all belong, we all learn, we all lead to succeed. I am so proud to be the principal of the finest staff that is imaginable. I cannot tell you. These people work so hard every day to serve our students and our community. And I want you to get a chance to sort of see who they are. We've been practicing this. We begin every staff meeting in PLC with this little chant, and I'll see if they can help me with this. Are you guys ready? Okay. We're missing our PE teacher who usually does this in his big coach's voice, but I'm gonna do my best. Here we go. We are Harrison. We are Harrison. We are Harrison. Woohoo! Yes, we are, and we are proud. Thank you for letting us do that. Moving on, I just want to show you that this is my beautiful staff. We have quite a diverse staff, and I'm going to now introduce you to a member of that staff, my partner, wonderful assistant principal, Mr. Eric Mcmartin.
Thank you. We just want to obviously our main focus, just as it is in every school in Harrison, is student learning and student achievement. So we're just going to share a little bit of our achievement data with you, and then Tracy's going to talk to you just a little bit about what it is that we're doing about that. So this was from 2019, but this is a 3-year trend data, which I know you guys have seen in the past, but Bricker, so for third grade ELA, we have a slightly downward kind of curving trend line right now that we're working on growing. Third grade math is on an upward trend, which is good news. Fourth grade ELA is on a little bit of a downward trend, and once again, we're working on that, as well as fourth grade math. Fifth grade ELA has been variable over the last couple of years. And then fifth grade math, same thing as well. We had a really high year a couple years ago and down just a little bit last year. One real bright point for us is, as you saw in the demographics slide, we have a pretty high population of ESL students at Bricker. And so our access growth is something that we are very, very proud of. Our 3 members of our CLDE team are here tonight. And this is really attributed to all of their hard work. So this is the median growth percentile for the last couple of years for, something went wrong. Anyways, there we go. So this is the median growth percentile for the last couple of years, and you can see we've gone up a few points. One thing to note too is we have one of the highest populations of non-English proficient students. So students with the least amount of language when they come to us. So this next slide, whoops, wrong way. The next slide shows that 80% of those students, even though with that high net population, are on track to meet the expected fluency rate. So that's a real celebration for us. So that's kind of in a nutshell where we're at, and we know we have some room to grow, and we've made some plans to make sure that happens.
I feel really like I don't know where to stand because I want to present to you, but I don't want to, stand in people's way. 2019 is a rainbow of possibility for us. We know we have work to do, but with the 7 habits, we can believe that we can do it. What are some of the things that we have done this year? Well, we have set 3 rather large goals as a staff. One of ours is to really dive into data to make data-driven decisions. We're implementing some more elaborate data trackers, and for the first time we're using PDSA folders in our building. We review these weekly at PLC and at our MTSS meetings. We also ensure aligned quality Tier 1 instruction in every classroom every day and provide intervention daily to close that achievement gap for some of our students. We also provide social emotional learning to all students daily. We use the PBIS LEAD matrix, a 0.5 system, restorative practices, and the 7 habits of highly effective people, otherwise known as the Leader in Me. We've taken some specific actions. We've done a lot of training over the summer and this year. Our staff has been trained in the use of PDSA. All of our primary teachers were trained in Orton Gillingham, which is reading strategies. Also Haggerty, which is a phonemic awareness intervention program. The entire staff was trained in thinking maps, co-teaching, and Kagan structures. And we're hoping that that's going to really help us shore up some of our Tier 1, 2, and 3 instruction. As an entire staff, we're doing a book study. Eric Jensen's Poor Students, Rich Teaching. It is an awesome book. We are really enjoying it, learning a tremendous amount on how to best serve our students' needs. We've also embedded PLC and MTSS. And we use student leadership notebooks, and our students all set individual goals, track their individual progress. This includes attendance, math, and reading goals. One of the things that we've really tried to work on, and I'm quite proud of my entire staff's efforts and the community, is to develop more community partnerships. We have worked hard, and it has grown tremendously. When I first came to Bricker, we only had really 2 community partners that supported our building, and now we've really reached out. Woodman Valley Church has provided free meals. They've given us computers for our building, really done a lot to support us. Office Depot, YMCA. Office Depot helps us with our supplies. YMCA provides before and after school activities for our kids. UC Pueblo and UCCS volunteer their time at our school. The Children's Chorale comes and does some assemblies with us, and our students are also able to participate in some musical opportunities. CEDO is a mentoring opportunity that's come to our building. They come into our building once a week, and they mentor our male students. And we also have HSD2 transportation that has come and presented with our 3rd grade students. We were very happy about that. Pikes Peak Library comes and helps us get all of our kids reading. They come to our school and give our kids library cards. Kona Ice supports us. Hillside Connection does sports with us. Harrison High School is awesome, and I'm going to tell you some of the things that they have done with us in a little bit. UCCS, as I mentioned, keep on going, I think. Thank you. We have the Fountain Fort Carson Soldiers. Oh my gosh, they come frequently. They do lunch and recess with our kids. They helped paint our building. They are just a tremendous asset to us. The Colorado Springs Police Department supports us. Youth Transformation helps us with restorative practices. And most excitedly, we are so jazzed about this. For the first time, we have a preschool in our building. We are so excited about that. It's been a wonderful addition to our school. We have VIPs that work tirelessly in our school. They pop popcorn, they make cotton candy, they cut, they paste, they copy, they do whatever needs to be done to support our students, and we are blessed with some of the most dedicated VIPs. We have Care and Share that provides food for our families, and a host of other people that provide gifts for us, family for us. The Rotary Club brings us books. Holy Apostles Church brings meals and Christmas gifts. We have a lot of people that have reached out to give us health services. So I think you can see we've made some gains. We have moved from our 2 support community partners to having several more, and we're continuing the work. So thank you so much. We are growing leaders one habit at a time, and we have a special treat for you. Rather than my standing up here and talking you through all the wonderful things that are happening at Bricker, we're going to have our honor choir come up, and they're going to sing a song for you all about the 7 habits while we do a slideshow that shows you all of the great things happening at Bricker Elementary School. So sit back and enjoy.
My leadership comes down
boys and girls, can I have you go right back? I'm so sorry, but we have something really special for you. Come on down. From the Board of Education, we have some more certificates for you, and we were holding them.
They're so exciting.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was like crying. That was like the greatest thing ever. Right here doing the dance. This one right here. Yeah. Just, oh my God. They remembered all those words. That was a long song. I know, but I want to learn that song. Oh, my computer shut down.
And then, yes. We also have our 3 fifth grade leaders. If you will go up, we have certificates for you as well. All right, so this is my Oprah Winfrey moment, so forgive me for this, but I have to. We couldn't conclude our presentation without acknowledging you. And we thank you all for your participation with us. We thank you all for being members of the Harrison community. We thank you for helping us blossom. So guess what? You are a winner. You are a winner. You are a winner. We have cookies for all of you. Woo! You are winners big time as well. Are you ready to get your cookies? All right, can I have my 3 leaders come up? Cookies. Here,
You gotta love cookies.
Yeah. There you go. You want her cookies. They are good. That's a big basket of cookies.
Yes.
You should have taken a picture.
Take
So we
one.
get one, we get one.
Look at that
Not
big
a
old
basket.
basket. We're bringing the basket. 6 of them.
Oh, we get a pick. Would it be rude to just
Oh my goodness. We only get one, because now I want lots of them. Thank you. Not Shelly, you don't get excited. You ladies were awesome.
Thank you.
While the cookies are going around, can I just say one more time, thank you, awesome Bricker staff. Thank you, awesome Bricker kids. Thank you, awesome Bricker parents. I am so proud to be your principal. You rock.
Turbo. See, for it being your first time, you did really good. You took away the whole show, and your students did. Did anyone have any questions before she runs away? No, I think they're so excited.
Yeah, there's lots of.
I had a
we'll have to-
question. She's really excited over there.
When we get him back in.
I know. Turbo. I think the mics are off.
Ask you some questions at the podium.
I was so excited about cookies. I am so sorry. I'm usually not this scattered, but we would love to address your questions. Thank you.
Well, you were so excited. Everyone was so excited. We lost the room on that one. So.
All right, Bricker students. 3, 2, 1, and lead. Thank you.
Okay. You gonna start?
Well, I wanted to say thank you
That was amazing. Oh my gosh, the singing, I like cried because that was so good, so emotional. And then just the way your leaders helped each other out when she lost her paper and they held it up and really teamwork. It was amazing. So great job, young ladies. But I know Mr. Siebert has some questions too, so I'll let him go.
I do. I've always been the blabbermouth. I just jump right into. Well, having been at the ribbon cutting for your leadership program from the very beginning, there's a couple of familiar faces I see. You guys probably don't remember. I think I have a picture at home of that with a couple of you. So it's great to see you. You talk about public speaking, and you're up here. We get nervous in front of you guys. So for you to be up here in front of us, it took that took a really strong step towards your public speaking abilities. So thank you very much. I was so torn. We're watching the slideshow, and I wanted to watch them sing, and I wanted to watch the slides. I was jumping back and forth. So the presentation, a different format, I really liked it. It was very enjoyable. Thank you for being here, and thank you for parents and the great turnout of your staff and your students and parents tonight.
Thank you. We really appreciate the honor and privilege of being here before you today, so thank you. I want to tell you we got some 5th grade leaders gunning for your position. Just want you to know.
I just wanted to say that the students did an outstanding job, and that they should all be very proud of themselves. It was excellent.
Give a kudos to you and your teachers for doing the book study. I know your lives are full and you're investing everything you have, but to still grow yourselves individually and as a group, it just says so much about their leadership. So,
and I want to just add on, if you don't mind, the staff leads that book study.
Amazing.
They do all of the presenting to our staff. Each grade level takes a chapter and presents. They are amazing.
well, thank you so much. Any more questions? Good. Are you sure?
I get it all out.
Can we get your presentation added to board docs, because it's not in there?
We can definitely send that to you, not a problem, yes.
Yeah, then
we'll get that right to you.
Go back and, I forgot all about the slideshow. I was enjoying them so much.
Thank you
again
so
so
much.
much.
Do we want to do the mass exodus real quick? Okay. Before I move on,
Good job, Jeannie.
Thank you.
It's very enjoyable. It's very. They get caught in the same in the same routine. They got to go through all that. It was.
I mean, that song was so long. They learned all the words of that song. It was crazy.
You notice that they memorized all of the mission and all those. I mean, a couple were reading, but when they were doing, yes, they were. Yeah, they had it.
So the band, did you know what you're going to say for the band? Because I don't know if we put anything in there. For the band, maybe you can ask the security to read it. We're honoring them for this.
We want this great, bad.
I know. Absolutely, thank you.
But they get it ready to go.
We need a bigger house, but they can't do it.
Thank you for coming out.
Worthwhile. And when you get to leave high school, don't forget the scholarships.
Oh, yes.
Very
We have
cool.
one in high school, too.
Great.
Bye, sweetie.
Yes, that was a room. I walked in, standing room only.
Bye, Miss Anderson.
Well, then there's band parents too.
I'll see you next
probably,
year in
the
5th
band.
grade.
You might see me next year, but I'm not.
Not there. I'm excited about this cookie.
Those look good too.
Be all.
I haven't
They're soft.
eaten but fruit and vegetables in like 4 days.
Oh, that's a drag. I mean, I like fruits and vegetables. Good night. Thank you
You
guys
have a
for
good
being
night.
here.
What'd she do?
Linda went and got more cookies.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
So excited.
We gotta try them both.
There we go.
Just jump in.
I
Sometimes you
was
just
waiting for
can't
Andy
wait.
to close the door. All right, are we ready to get back to business here? We're moving on to 5, communicating with the board. We have 5.1, Harrison Band. We're going to honor the band under the direction of Keith. How do you say that? Basalion? I want to say it fancy. Say it again. Okay. We understand that you guys did an amazing job. Linda kept us up on all that was happening with the band, so we're excited to hear all your news here.
In real time.
So thank you for having us and for recognizing our awesome student leaders. Could I have our student leaders stand real quick and just be recognized? These students start working for each other and for the whole show starting in February when we do leadership applications and auditions. They do interviews, they do projects, they do things to help each other. They go down to the middle schools and do mentorship. And then they work all throughout the summer to prepare things for band camp so that way we can have a family community. So they work really hard and they have to put up with me all the time, which is a chore in of itself. So I appreciate them immensely. You guys can sit down now. Just some background before we watch the video. This is our state finals video from Grand Junction, Colorado, where state championships were held this year. Over the past 7 years? Yes, 7 years. We have not placed outside of the top 2 in the CBA Southern Regional. And in the past 5 years, we've made finals, or 6 years, we've made finals 4 times and medaled 3 times, which means we placed in the top 3 in the state. We placed 3rd this year. It was a really tough year for band. There was a lot of really good groups, and so I'm really proud of the students. We had the smallest group that qualified for state, but we were obviously one of the best. And I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Pugh for coming and making that trip over, and also to Mr. Vargas for taking that trip over. He was with our students the whole time, and I can't tell you how amazing that is to have an administrator that'll take the time to go across the state to support the band. That's not normal for anybody that's confused. That almost never happens, and so to have that kind of support from Mr. Vargas is just immeasurable. So thank you so much. So this is our state finals video. Our show this year was entitled The Golden Spike and tells the story of the Transcontinental Railroad being built, which hopefully you can tell. As we go, the music includes I've Been Working on the Railroad, The Great Locomotive Chase by Robert W. Smith. The middle movement is Shenandoah, but with a cool twist on it. And then we end with Beethoven's Ode to Joy. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for having us.
1863 on the Transcontinental Railroad. Built by the Union Pacific Company and the Central Pacific Company, the rails were laid from Sacramento, California and Omaha, Nebraska simultaneously. Covering over 2,000 miles, this project united the nation from coast to coast for the first time.
Joining us from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Director Keith Fiscal. Please welcome the Harrison Panther Marching Band. Association is proud to present in their 2019 final competition nominators, Michaela Lemon, Iron Shook, and the Harrison Panther Marching Band.
At night, the laborers rested and enjoyed the simple pleasures in life. A hearty meal, card games, songs, and washing before bed, all while around the warmth of a campfire and below the twinkling star-filled sky. tracks finally met at Promontory Summit, Utah. The final spike, plated with gold, was driven. The last spike is driven. The Pacific Railroad is completed.
Thank you again for having us tonight and letting us be representatives of our school, our program, and our district on a state level. We really appreciate all of your support that you've given us, especially to our two superintendents who have made very strong budget decisions to support the arts and help us to do what we can do and again to Mr. Vargas for all of his support emotionally and financially to help us to do what we can do. Our students work extremely hard. Our boosters work extremely hard. Just between May and November 1st, our booster parents gave over 1,000 volunteer hours into our program between fundraising, building props, transporting kids, making meals, sewing uniforms, all those things. And so it really takes our entire community to put that sort of product on the field that we can be really proud of and to say, we are Harrison. So thank you again.
Yay. Well, we're so excited. We have some certificates to hand out to your students, and really, we just wanted to say thank you. I know how much work that is. We have long history of band, and the blisters on the hands and the feet and everywhere are so real, so we appreciate that, and parents, it takes so much work. But Mr. Siebert has some awards and then maybe some questions. I know Miss Pugh has been super dedicated to following you and kept us up, and she's so proud of you guys, so you're up.
We exist as a board and as a staff to serve and support the students. You're the reason that we're here. If we weren't graduating kids, there would be no purpose for any of this, even to be here tonight. So this is about you guys. And we have our mission statement is to graduate college and career ready, but it makes me so proud to be able to honor excellence. And this third place at state, this is truly excellent. And so we do have some certificates. I'll give the floor to Ms. Pugh in a minute, but we'll take a picture over there and we'll give you guys your certificates in a little bit. But congratulations. Thank you for all of your hard work.
I want to point out that this is a combined band. Sierra is represented on this band as well as the middle schools. Are all three middle schools represented?
So far we just have students from Fox Meadow, but we also have students from Mountain Vista Homeschool Academy.
Okay. I was just saying.
One of our women captains is a homeschool student.
Well, and what an opportunity. Since Mr. Basalan has come into District 2, there's been a tremendous growth at the middle school level. The support he's provided for the bands. There's talk, some people even say maybe it needs to start at middle school, but we'll keep working on it. And my grandson was one of the awesome tuba players. Thank you, from Fox Meadow. But it's been an amazing process. When my kids were in school, marching band was part of the curriculum. It is now an extracurricular activity, and I think when you start seeing the success that you're having at state, that's because people are there and want to be there, not because you have to be there as part of the class. You're willing to put in all that extra work, and it's a lot of work. I think I have at least one kid with a little bit of frostbite on some fingers from marching in the cold weather. So wonderful. You did a great job.
Yes.
Let's gather under the Harrison.
I love gathering under there.
Get it,
baby. So exciting.
Good. That's good.
We'll get them.
It's a gain of 6. And I'm looking at the replay.
Thank you so much. Thanks, parents. I know how much work that is, really. So we're moving on to 5.2, report from Student Board Rep. Ms. Ana Soto is excused tonight, and Ms. Loesch has let us know she doesn't have anything to report. So we're just going to breeze on past that and get to 6. Matters reserved for board action. 6.1. Comprehensive annual financial report. Ms. Becker. Oh, were you trying to leave?
Yeah.
Oh.
She was on her way out.
Do we need to take a break for you? Are you okay? Okay. Okay.
I was just thinking I had a minute there why another report went on, but no, it's all good.
She didn't have anything.
It's all good. So thank you, Board of Education. We are here tonight to present the audit results of fiscal year 2018-2019. Really excited to get to this point for us in the finance department because we are officially saying goodbye, good night to the prior year. And we're really excited to get to this point. When thinking about the past year, just a couple quick thoughts, and especially really appreciate the three of you board members here because we have moved some mountains over the past year in terms of the financial affairs of the district. So a couple of highlights. As a district, our covered payrolls, so the amount we paid our employees over the past year, $59.28 million. We employ over 1,400 full-time equivalent. That's not the number of bodies, but over 1,400 full-time equivalent positions. And we served over 12,265 students, and that does include our charters. Appreciate to all of you the work that we have done this past year. We passed a $180 million bond, which, and we honored our promise and continue to, $15 per taxpayer per 100,000 of assessed value in a wrapped debt structure, and that has allowed for us to continue our strong credit rating. We have put into place a strategic investment plan and updated policy to allow the district to maximize earnings in a targeted, effective manner. We spent 2 years discussing a fund balance policy and just really excited that now we have a policy that allows for adaptability and changing economic conditions while maintaining a healthy reserves and prudent fiscal stewardship. And really most recently appreciated the discussions we've had on debrucing and Tabor, and know that we'll continue to engage in some of those discussions. So we have tonight with us Mr. Tom Sester, our lead audit partner, who's going to come and present, and we have a handout for you. And please, we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you for having me tonight. It's always a pleasure to come out and talk about the results, especially when there's a number of district employees here from the finance department, because they really spend a lot of time getting ready for this point, both before we come out from the audit. Of course, they're just plain trying to get things, done appropriately, but also providing all the materials to us. So it's nice to be able to come here and let their effort shine a little bit and be able to give you a clean report. So Shelley passed out a 2-page handout that I'll go through, and of course, if you have any specific questions, I can touch on those. We are on site this year for about 3 days in the summertime, reviewing and testing internal controls. We designed our audit plan based on the results of those tests and performed our audit field work over another week in late August. The overall financial condition of the district is good, and the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. So we issued an unmodified or clean opinion, as we have in past years. Each year, I like to talk about the distinction between the government-wide and the fund financial statements, particularly important with some of the new accounting standards that have come out, because they look very different than they have in the past. So the fund financial statements are presented in a basis upon which you adopt your budgets. It's how you receive your reports each month, and kind of a familiar presentation to anyone sitting in your chair there, because you see those regularly. The government-wide financial statements combine all the funds of the district into a single accrual-based presentation and include capital assets, debt, and other liabilities that are not included in the funds. So the first statement I'm going to look at is one of those government-wide statements. It's the statement of net position. And point out a couple of highlights here. So cash and investments compared to last year, up 105 or 106, almost $106 million. Almost seems like we can stop there, doesn't it? But that was your bond money this year. So that's almost all related to the $100 million in bond money that was issued this year. Capital assets were, let's see, assets were up about a $10.8 million with depreciation of 3.4, resulting in about a $7 million increase in net assets. Liabilities were down about $79 million. So this is, again, that government-wide difference here. So that $79 million is made up of primarily of a $199 million decrease in your net pension liability. So your net pension liability, that came about back about 6 years ago when all para-member organizations had to adopt GASB 68. So your net pension liability is your proportionate share of para's unfunded liability. Now, we've seen some wild swings in that amount. Last year, we saw it go up quite a bit, and this year we saw it go down quite a bit. Last year, it went up because of changing assumptions, which is always a bit of a concern because it seems like it's kind of hard to put your finger on. This year, it went down because of new state funding, where the state is putting in $225 million a year for the foreseeable future to try to shrink that unfunded liability. So that takes into account the current year plus future year contributions, so that shrunk down that liability. But that's a big portion of that change there. And then, of course, there was an increase in liabilities for the issuance of the debt. Net investment in capital assets decreased about $5 million, and that's really the difference between the new debt and the new assets purchased. Looking at item number 4, the general fund, we see the general fund is sitting at a ratio of covering about 68 days of expenses for the year, where it sits right now. Down a tick, down a little bit from last year, but still a good position to be in for a school district where you're not accumulating too many resources, where CDE is knocking at your door and telling you to spend it down, but also you have sufficient resources to cover expenditures as they come up. Long-term debt, of course, the issuance of the $100 million general obligation bonds. Otherwise, debt service was paid as it became due. Looking at number 6, again, these are all comparison of the different funds. I'll highlight a few things here. The general fund revenue was up about $8.2 million compared to the previous year. That was made up primarily of local revenues being up about $1.9 million, state revenues being up $6.2 million, and federal revenues just up a tick, about $84,000. Expenditures overall were up about $8.3 million, and that resulted in a net decrease in fund balance of about $975,000 in the general fund. Food service fund balance up about $200,000 compared to last year. There was a decrease in revenues, where there was an increase in expenditures of about $560,000. Capital projects funds, so that's not the building fund, but the other project funds, were down about $320,000 in total in fund balance, and there was a decrease in use of those funds. I suspect as there was more emphasis in the building fund where the bond money went. And finally, the health fund balance was down about $1 million. Premiums were up $933,000, while claims paid expense was up Yes, was up about $644,000. That is one of those funds that tends to fluctuate wildly from year to year. It may be up $1 million one year, down $1 million another year. Really, it generally depends on claims activity. You have one person that has a major organ replaced or something like that, and that's gonna hit your fund balance pretty hard when you're self-funded. Internal controls. I mentioned that the largest component when we're here over the summer is our testing of internal controls. We did not have any internal control findings either for the financial statements or for the grants. Didn't have anything of significance that had to be reported in the financial statements. Federal awards. We emphasized in our testing Title IIA and SPED testing this year, so that gets a more intensive look as we rotate on an annual basis which grants are going to get a greater focus in the audit. And again, no findings either internal control-wise or compliance-wise, so you had clean audits, clean opinions on those as well. And last, I just want to recognize Shelley and her staff. Really appreciate the work that they do preparing for the audit. And then there's just a ton of work even after we leave. We prepare we leave, we put the financial statements together, but then after that, her staff has to transmit that to the state. And it is we'll skip the adjective, but it's a process. And there's a lot that goes into, because all these financial accounts, the CDE is looking and has certain tests and markers, and if you're not matching up where they expect, they kick it back out and you have to make corrections. So it's quite a process. But thank you very much for having us again. Happy to entertain any questions if you have any.
Thank you so much. We know Shelley's amazing and her team is just, we're grateful for them. Thank you for putting this in words we can understand, for starters. That's really helpful.
Good.
And it's interesting now that we see money. Well, everyone wants to see dollar signs.
Yes.
So I don't have any questions because I actually understood what you said, which I greatly appreciate, but I know.
I always hope that, by the way, because the goal here is not to just make everybody's eyes glaze over and hope I leave soon. We want it to be understandable, so you're really taking ownership of what's being put out here.
Right, and just no finding on the internal controls and federal awards. That just says a lot about Shelley and her team, and we know that they're extraordinary, and we appreciate them greatly. So, Steve.
Well, and having come from last year with a little bit, you always want to improve.
Yes.
Processes are put in place to account for those and to catch those. I can just see from my very first term on the board, Joyce's eyes at the mention of money or finances would just glaze over. So when you said glaze, yes, there is absolutely this an element of talking about finances. But as a board, there's really only a few things that we really control, and the budget is certainly one of them. As an independent auditor, obviously you're our hired gun, if you will, to report back to us that we are really doing what we're supposed to be doing, and the cooperative nature of the finance department and everything that you report is always, you always hope for that, and then when it happens, you're like, is that really? But we do appreciate having a positive report.
Good, and that is right too. You want to hear if things are not good.
Right.
And we're happy to tell you.
Here,
that's
yeah,
the case
here.
too.
Not from the state in a month or two.
That's true too.
Do you have anything?
No, I was just going to say, I was wondering what was going on with the pension plan, and you answered my question. Thank you. I was like looking at those numbers and going, wow. So, thank you.
So I would be remiss, I'd like to thank, we have with us Scott Howard, Director of Finance, and Lori Hawkins, our Accounting Manager. So again, we wouldn't be able to do all of this without an extraordinary team and the talent that we have on board.
Thank you so much.
Well, and there's so much that goes into the budget. Capital reserve, our insurance department, Sherry Shoup, the superintendent's budgeting is not easy. That's when you look at superintendent turnover, you can have a very mediocre curriculum, but if you lose it in finance, you're gone, and that's nationally that's where you lose it when budgets are out and it's a problem. That's like the number one cause for turnover. So it is reassuring to the board to have a solid, yes, a clean audit, a solid report. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like money music. Thank you so much, Shelley. Excuse me. Moving on to 7, public comment. Linda pulled public comment at 6:30. We're a little early on that, but no one had signed up, so it's null and void. So we're gonna keep going. 8, monitoring board performance. 8.1, annual work plan. Oh. I don't think we had anything. This is on board consent, right? No.
No. Do we want to talk about the one addition of for the retreat? There was one date that we wanted to add.
We wanted to add a February date as well. Did we not? I thought we did. We talked about adding a board and superintendent.
Yes, were we going to do that after we had talked about an afternoon?
No, we talked about doing that in the evening. Would just be like a couple hours. That was the original conversation after January 11th, so sometime in February.
Did we decide on?
A weeknight? Is that?
Yeah, I was just double checking. Did we decide on meeting with D11 just on our first work session in February then?
Yeah, I'll have Shelley, since she's not here, check on that. And then Norma can check with D11's board and see if they can come join us on that work session for that conversation.
Scott, if you will, we're talking about having D present and having D11 with us together. So we're going to invite them to that evening board work session for that presentation if they can make it.
I'm not sure why we have possible search for student board rep. I mean, that's going to happen, right?
Yes.
The word possible has shown up twice in the annual plan, and yet it's by policy when it's going to happen.
Because we just updated that.
So we want to strike possible?
To search for. Right. Mm-hmm. And then a February date.
That's still pending, I think, for the retreat.
Do we want to add one? Or do we need to wait until we have calendars to sync?
Did you guys have a?
We could pick a couple of tentatives.
Because Regina and Corey aren't here. Thanks. We do like the 11th? That'd be unrealistic.
It's a Tuesday, the 11th, is that?
Yeah.
I'm open the 11th.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Can we hold
Or the
it?
following Tuesday, too. It could be the 11th or the 18th.
Okay.
That way we have a couple of options for.
Absolutely. Can we send out options for Regina and Corey? 11th or 18th of February in the evening?
Do those work
How many
for
hours,
either
John?
of you guys?
Like just 2? 6 to 8?
Either one of the, okay.
They work. And that would just be board and superintendents. We good?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
We have 8.2, legislative updates. Usually that's Shelley too. Do you guys have any?
So I can share a few. The legislature has been not really off. They've worked all through the summer. I know we've talked about the mill levy override and how that will affect us. There's a few other ones that are just to be on the watch out. Educator effectiveness and evaluation, they're looking at
changing the percentage that can be based on student achievement and decreasing the percentage. The other one is around school safety. There were 11 bills that went to committee, 5 came out, and they are mostly around mental health related, and then there's some safe to tell legislation. So they're still sitting in the committee, what's going to be put forward, but a lot of work around school safety. And the final one is around preschool, and obviously, that's probably coming from Governor Polis's push for preschool, but the bills actually are more around training and getting support for preschool. There has yet to be one submitted about universal preschool yet, but that's expected to show up.
So the first one you mentioned has to do with changing that percentage for performance?
For student achievement. So right now, it's can be up to 50%. They're looking at changing it to be only up to 30%.
That was per our conversation in the last work session.
What's your response to that thought?
Depends on what measures you use. I think most educators would tell you that it's all about accurate measures. So if you're using the right measures, I think you can hold people accountable for that. But if you change the test every 2 years, it's hard for people to meet the target when it's a changing target. So we in this district kind of do our own evaluations. We have a, what's it called, Mike? Yeah, but what's it called when we have something with the state? We don't use their RANDA system. Yeah, we have a special system that we use, so we do our own on what we value. We still do the student achievement, but I think we'll continue to do what we do regardless of what that percentage is. It won't change our practice per se.
Would the preschool bill, would that change our relationship with BOCES? I mean, not BOCES, CPCD, excuse me.
No, but it would make CPCD have more resources to hire qualified staff and paras and perhaps increase their ability to provide better quality services.
Nice. So I guess we'll keep waiting. Hear more soon. All right. So we're at 9, superintendent consent agenda. Yay! I made it all the way to 9. I'm so proud of myself, just so you guys know. 9.1, November personnel report. And I think Dr. Claudio gave us that.
It's in board docs. He gave us the comparison data as a handout.
So I didn't have anything.
I don't either.
No questions?
None. All right. No, you're not on the spot tonight, Dr. Claudio. 9.2, September financial statement. We lost our CFO.
Guess you're there.
One of you guys is up? Which one?
I have not seen them.
I didn't have any questions
I
when I
didn't
looked at him, so.
No questions.
We have him on his feet.
Gotcha, Scott.
All right. So I think I have to recommend a motion, or someone does.
I would move to, yeah, you recommend it?
Okay, I
You
recommend
entertain a
it.
recommend motion?
I entertain.
So you could either read the motion, and we would so move, or you could just
Okay,
leave it and we
so
read it.
I would recommend a motion, right?
I move to approve the superintendent consent agenda items as stated.
Second?
Yay. And so then I say it's a.
It's been moved and
It's been
seconded.
moved and seconded, moved by Mr. Siebert and seconded
Discussion?
by Mrs. Pugh.
Is there any further discussion?
Oh, okay. Did I say that before here? Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
right before the vote.
Okay. And then we vote. So there's no further discussion.
No.
And then we all vote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So wait, how do I say that one?
So,
All in favor?
All in
say
favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None? Motion carries. Oh, and that's when you bang the little thing. I'm not banging it. Can I get one with a little rubber thing on the end of it?
Better put some foam on the tape of the,
Scares me every time.
so motion carries.
So motion carries, and we're at 10. Board consent agenda. We have 10.1, the approval of minutes from the combined work session. October 24th?
I have no changes.
I didn't have any.
Look fine?
We're getting better at these, I'm just saying, these minutes.
Yes, indeed.
They've been pretty awesome. Thanks, Norma.
Well, yeah, Keith's work too, I'd have to
He really
certainly,
went through those.
is a much better process.
Because it was difficult to go through and read through all the minutes. was spending a lot of time doing that in my lunch hour. 10.2, operational expectations for personnel administrative monitoring. Dr. Claudio? I didn't have anything else on that.
Yeah, I think the changes were what we talked about, and
We had killed it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have anything else, Linda? No? Steve? All right. Just breezing along. 10.3, operational expectations. OE11.
It's a biggie.
OE11's not really my friend right now. We have a love-hate relationship. Mr. Bristol, did we have any other questions on this? I know we had killed it a little bit.
no, I
Are you done?
talked about it, or talked it over quite a bit at the work session, and looks like everything's carried through.
And again, 2 times.
Again, yeah.
Again.
I think Andy's probably going to have a love-hate relationship with it.
Me too. I'm like, do I have to see it again, do I? All right, so we're gonna try this again on 10.4. I'm gonna try and do it right. So I would recommend a motion, right?
Ask for a motion.
Or you could entertain,
Entertain,
or
like
can you have a motion?
changing the words for me.
You can use any word that you like. You could entertain one, you could recommend one.
I'm gonna recommend
Do we
one.
have, you could say, do we have a motion?
Can I recommend something?
You can.
Recommend a motion?
Mhm.
Okay. And then it's only you or Linda, so.
I move to approve the board consent agenda items as stated.
There you go.
Second.
I always move or second. So,
No
yeah.
more.
And then I ask if there's any further discussions?
No more? I have nothing?
This is easy with 2 people. I'm going to be very confused next round with more people.
They're going to jump in.
Moved by Mr. Siebert, seconded by Mrs. Pugh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And motion carries.
All opposed? You have to give the
Is
nays.
opposed?
You have to-
There's no one else.
You have to give,
offer them.
have to give the chance.
Anyone?
All opposed. There wasn't any. Now it carries?
Motion carries.
Okay, motion carries. I'm not banging the thing. Like the little thing. And that was it, right? I have to.
Item 11.
11 is already here. Look at. It's only 7:20. You guys want to hang out? It says until 8:25.
Does anybody have anything to do?
Yeah, do we want to
Want to go?
just hang out or spend more time with each other at the end of the day? I worked all day too, can't you tell? All right, so 11.1, I recommend a motion to adjourn. Is that it?
So moved?
Second?
Any further discussion?
I doubt it.
Moved by Mr. Siebert, second by Mrs. Pugh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then all opposed? Motion carries. Is that it? All right.
Meeting's adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned. I did it on purpose.